Hi guys, welcome to GameTalk. Midtjylland against Ajax, Champions League game, a huge game. We won 2-1. Today to discuss with me the game, Sahbi.
What's up?
What's up with you, man? How do you feel?
Relieved.
Yeah?
Damn, really relieved.
I thought after 15 minutes, 12 minutes, 15 minutes, I thought, wow, this is easy. Piece of cake.
Exactly.
But what happened? I mean, honestly, look, just to make things clear, you're relieved, I'm relieved. We're happy, we have 3 points, etc. That's the most important thing. But this kind of is maybe the worst game this season, if you look at the performance of the
most
players.
Likely, yeah, most likely.
So what happened?
Well, what happened? Difficult to say. We really started well. A goal in the first minute. We had Promes having the ball, giving a nice pass to Tadic. Tadic with a great turn and touch and turn.
As we know him.
As we know him.
Yes.
And nice pass to Antony. And we thought, okay, with that goal, it can easily go to 3-4-0. I mean, it was exactly how we wanted to see. But at the end, we saw the 2-0. Okay, it was a lucky, not a lucky shot, but it was a present from Midtjylland. But after that, it was terrible. I mean, really terrible.
So what happened after the 2-0? Because I felt, but maybe I saw it differently. I felt like maybe we took a bit, our foot off the gas. Mm-hmm. And we started maybe thinking more of controlling the game, and that the game was already not done and dusted, but maybe more like, some players were thinking, because you start seeing a lot of back passes to Onana. You see people having the urgency anymore to play like we had before. I mean, did you see that as well? Or are there other things happening?
No. Well, next to that, of course, it started with that, because you could see when we started against Atalanta, there was a lot of talks after the game. Like, we start attacking, even when we were 2-0 up. Now we are 2-0 up, and they started to give those back passes, with passes to the back, etc. Really, really bad tactical decision.
But it's not wrong. It's not wrong to try and control the game, right?
No, but it wasn't done in a correct way. I mean, did you see the midfield? We got Blind, who was really terrible. We got Gravenberch and Ekkelenkamp, really static footballers. There was a lot of gaps between the defense and midfield and attack. It was terrible.
The first goal.
Once they got the ball.
What happened with the first goal? Tell us.
The first goal. I mean,
that we conceded.
It was Blind. A terrible mistake from Blind. He let his player pass him like it was a statue.
But the worst thing is it was on their half. So so once they pass Blind,
there was such a room where they could pass the ball to any player of Midtjylland. And the shot of who was it? Dreyer. I think Dreyer who scored. It was a nice shot, but there was so much room for him and so much time for him to shoot the ball. I mean, and after that goal, they had so much hope that they could keep on going.
I mean, if you look at the 2-1, after the 2-1, from that moment on, I think until halftime, if you look at it, we were not in control anymore of the game. It went back and forth, but you felt like we were in danger all the time.
We were pressured.
Yeah.
I mean, we were pressured in midfield. We were outplayed in midfield. All the passes were bad. I mean, especially from Blind. Bad passes. Promes, bad passes. No pressure from our side. Once the ball was on our defense, they kept on pressuring us, and we kept on losing the ball.
So the problem, according to you, is it only the midfield, or is there more than that? Is it also because of what we said, the mentality, maybe?
The mentality, but also the defense. Schuurs played terrible. Mazraoui in the first half, terrible as well. And of course, the Blind is the backbone of this of the squad, because he played in midfield. If he doesn't play that well, the whole team doesn't play well. He's the one who should control the midfield. He's the one who should start the attack, and he should be able to lead the midfield. And that's something that we haven't seen the whole game. and the first half was terrible. Second half, luckily, Ten Hag made the decision to bring in Klaassen, which brought back a bit of balance in midfield, but it was also a terrible second half, and midfield was bad as well. There were no chances created except for the offside goal of Antony, which was a nice pass from I think Mazraoui. Unfortunately, it was an inch or something offside. But after that, it was nothing. Promes, again, very terrible.
It was really, as you say, a very sloppy game.
Sloppy
from
game.
Ajax. And we're lucky, honestly, that we played our worst game against this team.
Exactly.
Because this team, to be very fair with you, just to finish this, I was not really impressed by Midtjylland. It's really our fault that it was a close game.
Exactly. So, I mean, was it Ajax that played so bad, or was it Midtjylland that played that well?
I don't even think that Midtjylland played that well.
Exactly. It was Ajax who played terrible, and luckily we had a 2-0. And that's the only good thing that we could say about this game.
Just to mention one thing about the second half, right? Of course, you said it's still terrible, and it wasn't a great half either. But I thought there was more urgency from some players. They show a little bit more fight in the second half compared to the first one. And then, for instance, Mazraoui, Tagliafico, you saw a little bit more, fight and urgency, and even more pressing sometimes. Trying to recover the ball.
Yeah,
it didn't always go well, to be honest, but I thought it was a bit better performance.
A bit better.
Trying to.
Exactly. But it wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
Still wasn't good enough. But at least they put some effort in it. And therefore, Midtjylland wasn't even able to create chances against us in the second half. So that was the only good thing that we could say about the second half. But no chances created from Ajax as well. So basically it was
normally I will always ask you or other panel members about the starting 11, right? I mean, but now it's a bit more difficult to talk about that because we know what happened prior to the game.
Yeah,
we know there were like corona issues. There were a couple of players that actually yesterday we thought will not play. Onana, Klaassen, Gravenberch, Tadic, etc., etc.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, Ten Hag was able to play 3 of those and Klaassen on the bench, and he played the second half. So we were already relieved because of that. But do you think it also mattered in the sense that maybe this has also a mental effect on the players, how they play this game? Do you think it has a factor to play?
Probably, but it shouldn't have such an effect on the game. Because
but it does take away a little bit your preparation towards the game, right?
Yeah, but on the other hand, who didn't play? Klaassen only. So there were most of the players.
Well, if you turn it around, I'm not trying to find an excuse, but if you turn it around, Ekkelenkamp was non-existent in the first half.
Exactly.
And maybe he heard it at the last moment that he has to play.
No, I don't believe that. I think he heard that at least yesterday, because it was already known that some players wouldn't play. At the end, they did play, but I mean,
what you're saying is
we're all professionals. I mean, you should be ready once you're being called up. So, I don't think that should be a reason to play such a bad game.
All right.
Yeah.
So again, I'm not going to really talk too much about the starting 11. So it was a little bit good to see. I mean, Tadic playing as a center. That was, I think, one of the few times this season already, or maybe the first time this season.
I think the first time.
Yeah. And what also was funny, we were talking about that earlier as well, is Alvarez got substituted, not for the midfield, but for the back line instead of Schuurs. So what is happening now? Because all this time, Ten Hag was saying Alvarez is midfield and Tadic is the left winger. And now things are starting to evolve basically the same as last year.
Yeah. I can only laugh about this. I mean,
I'm not criticizing Ten Hag. Don't get me wrong, but it's just
me neither. But I don't understand him.
Okay.
He basically says during preseason Alvarez is a midfielder. He's stating that Martinez is a defender. Every time he changes things, he stated Tadic is best on the left because he can work greatly with.
And within
with
1 minute, you see how valuable Tadic is for the goal.
In the center, within a minute, you could see that. 1 minute and
not even a minute.
Not even a minute, indeed. Yeah. And within 15 minutes, he even scored a goal. But Exactly. He can hold the ball and he can create chances for others. And
But I have to say, he didn't play well today, Tadic,
No.
because. But I don't know if this is also a tactical thing of Ten Hag. But he wasn't the striker holding the ball like Traoré
No.
does.
No.
You know, he was a little bit retracting all the time to the midfield. I don't know if this was something that was
Maybe
instructed.
it's a tactical decision, but I
But
thought
sometimes we didn't have anyone to hold the ball
No.
up front.
no, it didn't help the team indeed. But just to be honest, who played well?
You're asking me this.
I'm asking you this because it's a rhetorical question, basically. Because, in my opinion, everybody played below par. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I think a lot of players could have done much better.
All the players could have done much better.
Yeah, but as I said, in the second half, you saw some players,
but
getting
still,
better performances.
But still definitely below par. I mean, Promes, we know that he's way out of form. He did get a chance. He didn't took it.
Exactly. Were you surprised about that? That Promes started?
I was surprised. On the one hand, on the other hand, I mean, we heard about the Corona thing and that some players wouldn't play. So I thought maybe Promes would play, but more on the 10 position instead of the left wing position, because we thought Neres will play.
Neres, yeah.
And Neres didn't even get substituted, so which is a very weird decision. So on the other hand, yeah, I did. My opinion would be that he indeed would have played,
Mhm.
but. Yeah, he was so bad. I don't know what's wrong with him. Maybe he's gotten used to the passes of Ziyech of last year, and he doesn't have anyone who provides him these passes. I really don't know, but it's a confidence issue.
All right. One more thing I want to touch upon is Blind on the midfield. There are a lot of discussions about that, right? I mean, the idea is Blind brings football on the midfield. When you put him on the midfield, he has the passes, he has the control. That's what the idea is. We have seen him play a couple of times on the midfield now, also in the Champions League. A little bit different against the Liverpool game. He was also on the midfield, but also sometimes coming back as extra defender for Firmino. But today we saw him as well on the midfield. And we saw him also in the Eredivisie play on the midfield before. But in general, what's your opinion about that?
In general, he's not a midfielder. The thing is, if you give him space, he can do a lot of things. But once he gets pressured, he's doing he's so bad. He can't decide within seconds what to do. He needs time. He needs time to turn. His ball handling is quite slow. It's like Alvarez 2.0, but I mean, Blind a bit better, of course, than Alvarez. But he doesn't have the ball speed, the ball handling, the ball speed to pass the ball. He needs time. And in Champions League level, you don't get that time. So it's no, he's not my midfielder. He's not.
You know what strikes me a little bit like it surprised me a little bit. I'm drawing things back from last year to this year, and last year I remember that Ten Hag started with Blind a couple of times on the midfield
at the beginning of the season,
and it didn't work.
It didn't work. No,
he had to take him off and put Martinez on the midfield,
and it went better.
And it went better also with Martinez. You had, who was playing next to Martinez back then? He had to put Donny van de Beek next to him. And then after a while, Ziyech was number 10.
Yeah.
So we miss Donny now and we miss Ziyech. So that's different. But you see that the problem with what I have with Blind is that off the ball, it's like putting a cone. That's it. You have a cone. You don't have a player that can recover or regain the ball or anything. You have a cone and people can just walk beside him, left, right, doesn't matter.
He's not a soldier. You need a soldier in the midfield.
But that means also, because this has implications, a lot of people also blame the defenders. The problem is that if the player in front of you is not good or doesn't do his work, then the defenders are exposed.
Yeah, they need to correct it.
And that's what happened also in during the first goal. Yeah. Because Tagliafico had two guys.
Yeah, he had to correct.
He couldn't do anything, so the guy had time to shoot.
Indeed, you could see Tagliafico hesitating whether he needs to go to the right winger or the right back. I don't know what player it was, or stay and block the ball. And eventually, the shot was taken and it was too late.
Yeah.
So indeed, if one player in this, and we're talking about Blind now, if he doesn't follow the player, his own player, then of course we got gaps, and defenders needs to correct this, and then you get space behind the defender.
Yeah, and it's not to blame Blind, by the way, because as you mentioned earlier, the whole midfield, especially in the first half, was
very static, very bad. Yeah, very bad.
All right. So let's be happy about the fact that we have 3 points. Let's be happy about the fact that we can look forward. There will be now, I think, a break for the Champions League. In 2 weeks' time, we'll play again, something like that. But then we have to come up with better performance. I mean, really, we have to start growing as a team, because this is a really huge fallback in terms of level of play.
Definitely, yeah.
So I hope it has to do with the situation with the corona, and maybe they were not prepared or something like that. But it's difficult to say.
It's difficult indeed, and let's hope they will be able to rest. We got an international break.
Yeah, so first Utrecht, of course.
First Utrecht, of course, but that should be easy, but.
Never easy.
Never easy, but if you look at Utrecht, the way they play,
never easy.
No. We should be able to.
Yeah, but then we have to play better.
We have to play better, definitely.
Yeah. All right. And, last thing.
Yeah.
I have to ask. We have to ask our panel members. Your man of the match.
It was difficult. On paper, you would say Tadic. If you look at paper, you see he has an assist and a goal. But my man of the match, especially in terms of second half, is Martinez. He did great. He closed a lot of gaps. He helped in attack.
Actually, in the second half, he stopped an almost certain goal from happening.
Yeah, true. Indeed.
So that was great.
Yeah, he did well. Not perfect. He didn't have.
No, but nobody was perfect.
Exactly. Honestly. That's what I wanted to say. But Martinez was the closest one.
All right, 3 points.
3 points, second place. So let's move ahead.
Hey there! Thanks for watching. A thumbs up if you enjoyed that video. Subscribe so we can bring you more awesome content. Do it.